Hey everybody, Jason here. So today we're going to finish off the kayak by finishing the hatches, installing some deck lines, and also installing the seat. So let's get started. To finish off the hatches, the first thing we need to do is install the hatch gaskets on the underside of the hatch covers. If you've ordered a kit from Chesapeake Light Craft, the hatch gasket is the roll of high-quality self-adhesive weather stripping that's included in the kit. When applying the hatch gaskets, just take a little care that you don't stretch the gasket while you apply it. Okay, well, now that you have your hatch gaskets attached to your hatches, you'll notice that the hatch is sitting fairly proud of your deck. Don't worry about that. The gasket's going to compress over time and you'll get a much more waterproof seal. So the next step is to attach and install the hatch toggles. Now, Chesapeake ships CNC cut toggles made out of marine plywood. What I've done is I've used their template to create my own toggles that would better match my deck. So what I'm going to be using is rosewood toggles. So the location of the toggles is up to you, but what I'm going to recommend is that you measure out and mark with a pencil where you're going to lay them out. That way when you do install them, you don't have any instance where they're uneven. After you've measured and marked the distance, making both sides equal, the pivot hole should be positioned a ½ inch from the hatch opening for all the toggles. After you've marked the positions, drill a 5/32 hole at each mark as a pilot hole. From there, you want to use a finish washer and a screw to hold your toggle in place. Now you're also going to want to add some marine silicone into the hole before you screw the toggle down. This marine silicone is going to help make sure that your boat stays watertight, but also prevent any water staining around the hole. Alright, so your hatch is still going to sit a little proud of the deck after attaching the toggles. You don't want to tighten it down right now. Like I said, the gasket's going to compress over time and you want to just, tighten it up as you go. So that's the rear hatch. So I'm going to go ahead and do the front hatch now. And then after that, we'll do our deck lines. Okay, so the hatches are done and now I'm going to move on to the deck lines. So deck lines, of course, they're not necessary, but they're recommended as a part of a safety feature. So they're also really handy. The front deck lines can be used to store your water bottle or your pump, or put a map under there. But the rear deck line also is used to do a self-re-entry later on, possibly. So yeah, to install them, what we're going to do is basically the same process. We're going to mark where we want them, then we're going to do a pilot hole, and then this time we're going to use little strips of nylon webbing. So I've cut this to 4½ inches, and what I'm going to do is just fold it over twice so that it creates a loop, and then from there we'll screw through with the flat finishing washer as well. Once that's installed, we'll simply run the bungee line through the loop created. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add my 1/4" bungee cord through the nylon webbing to finish off the deck lines. Okay, so now that we have our deck lines on, we're gonna move into the cockpit of the kayak. First, we're gonna do the back band, and then we'll install the seat. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've just drilled a pilot hole in my hip braces, and then I've also done pilot holes at the back. Now these are spaced 3 inches from the center of my cockpit coamon, and I've actually just temporarily screwed in the screws that will hold the bungee of the back brace, and that's more or less just so I get the screw started, but also what I'm doing is just eyeing up where everything is. So I've just, lightly put in my screws. Okay, so now I'm going to assemble the back brace and install it. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. So there's really only one thing left to do, and that's to install the seat. Now, if you've purchased a kit from Chesapeake Light Craft, they ship pre-cut Minicell foam seat sections here, and all you do is use some contact cement to glue the two together. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, but I'm actually not going to glue my seat in place for quite a while. Instead, what I'm gonna do is use double-sided tape. That way, I can try the seat out, move it around a bit, and when I'm sure it's in the exact spot that I want it to be, then I'll just trace it on the floor of the cockpit and permanently glue it in place. Okay, well, I guess that's it. So, I should point out that Chesapeake also ships foot pegs with their kits, and I have those, but just like the seat, I'm gonna get out and paddle around in the boat before I install them. Because this is my boat, and nobody else is gonna be paddling it, I can probably get away with sticking a piece of foam down against the bulkhead by my feet. We'll see how it goes. The foot pegs might be the way to go, but really, I won't know until I'm out on the water a few times. She sure is a beautiful boat, and it's been really quite an experience putting her together. The first time I've ever built a stitch and glue boat, and combining stitch and glue with cedar strips is, been an interesting process. So again, I'd like to thank Chesapeake Light Craft for giving me this opportunity. And before I go, once again, I would like to thank you guys as well for watching. It's a very interesting process, filming a canoe or kayak build. Try to capture as much useful footage as possible. And to be honest, there's always little bits that, after I'm finished, I think, I should have filmed that. But I think this is a good step for anybody interested in building their own kayak. So, yeah, thanks for watching.